Did you know that this is a Sonic character? And also this? And this? Welcome to the weird world of the Archie Sonic the Hedgehog comics. For those that don't know, the publishing company Archie Comics used to have the rights to make a Sonic comic series. This particular series ran from 1992 to 2016 before Sega and Archie discontinued their partnership in 2017. It's actually the Guinness World Record holder for longest running comic based on a video game. A comic series that long is bound to have a ton of oddball characters, so that's why I'm here today. For those that are well versed in the Archie series, I'm just going to state this right now. I'm not touching any of the echidnas. And for my own sanity, I'm not going to mention anything about that person. If you know, you know. No, I dove deep into the Archie Sonic wiki and found some characters that were weird, confusing, and surprisingly canon at one point. Plus, I think these characters are going to be lots of fun to redesign. So let's get started. I'm going to start with a character that's strange, but has tons of potential. Betty Butterfly. Yes, this is a real Sonic character. She showed up pretty early in the series, issue 9. She lived in the Great Forest and saved Sonic when he accidentally picked some poisonous flowers. To be fair, Knuckles Chaotix hadn't been released when this issue was written, so nobody on the Archie team really knew what a Mobian insect looked like. However, the design choices they made were, well, I mean, look at her. But like I said, this character has a lot of potential. So not only will I be changing her into an actual canon Mobian insect, I'll also be basing her design off of a real species of butterfly. I'm going to make her a pink spotted cattle heart, aka the first species that came up when I searched pink butterfly species. Also, I think it's just really pretty. I went with a lanky body type for this redesign, like a butterfly usually has. Also, to make her silhouette stand out, I gave her those pointed feet that Cedrians have. I'm going to give her a ballerina motif, because something about the original design just screams ballerina to me. I like what the original design did with the head, where there's this sort of hairline that frames the face. It reminds me of old cartoon characters or the Animaniacs or something. I decided not to give her much in terms of hair, because I felt like if I added too much, she would lose that sleek silhouette I was looking for with this character. Plus, I think she looks more mature this way. As you can see on the side there, I eyeballed the shape of the wings pretty closely. I wanted to keep as much of the original wing shape as possible. I just thought it looked so cool already. Once the wings were in place, I started working on her ballerina outfit. Something more akin to what's worn when ballerinas practice, as opposed to a full-on tutu. I see her more as a retired ballerina that teaches classes now. I tried adding ribbons of her legs, but it just looked crowded on the design. Plus the wings are going to have spots on them, and I felt like the clashing patterns wouldn't fit this character. She's a ballerina, not a clown. Once I was satisfied with her outfit, I went right on to coloring. I didn't want to use pure black for her, so I sampled the shine on the cattle heart's wing because it had a nice deep blue tint. I also sampled the pinks in the image too, because I loved how bright they were. It was then just a matter of placing the colors where they looked the best. I also made her skirt see-through to give it that sheer look. The wings looked pretty flat, so I gave them a bit of shine to make them look even more like butterfly wings. Oh, and I went with classic style eyes because this character was introduced in the classic era of Sonic. Not gonna lie, I am very much in love with this design. It's so pretty. This next character technically didn't originate from the Archie comics. This is Sharps the Chicken, formerly known as Sharps the Parakeet. He was originally in Sonic's rock band that got cut from the first game, and he was repurposed in the Archie comics for Mina Mongoose's band. I can understand why they changed his species because his original design definitely looks more like a chicken than a parakeet. However, I want to see this character as an actual parakeet. Just like the Scratch Mobian redesign, I kept Sharp's wing-like arms in this design. Oh, don't get used to the guitar being there. It'll be removed later. I wasn't satisfied with it. Since he's a parakeet, I had to give him a small, round beak. I also added that top, nose part? I don't really know what it's called. I also gave him a feather beard. Even though a parakeet's head feathers are rounded against the head, I still wanted Sharp's to have somewhat of a mohawk, so I just toned it down to fit the parakeet look better. For his clothes, I wanted to give him more of an early 2000s rock kind of look, since Mina's band gives off a sort of Paramore vibe to me. Heck, even Mina and her manager/boyfriend had that early 2000s rock aesthetic going on. So, along with keeping his shades, I gave him a loose-fitting tie, some punk rock armbands, and chunky shoes. Time for colors! I really like the colors on this particular parakeet picture, so all the colors were grabbed from that. Then I colored his body just like a parakeet. I pondered giving him black spots like the reference parakeet had, but I decided against it in favor of using black for a sort of reverse frosted tips look instead. This also gives the illusion that he's wearing fingerless gloves, which adds to the punk rock aesthetic. And done. Ready to rock. This next one's gonna be a fun one. So a little while back, there was a brief trend in the Sonic artist community where people redrew this one panel from the Archie comics where Sally's a lawyer representing Sonic. That trend kind of inspired this video, actually. Sally McAcorn isn't the only alternate universe Sally in the comic series. It's kind of an ongoing storyline where multiple universes exist, and there are even universe-hopping police officers to make sure the fabric of the multiverse isn't meddled with. Anyway, here's Sally Moon. No, this is not a one-off gag where Sally is in cosplay. This is a canon, alternate universe where Sally is the leader of a magical girl troupe inspired by Sailor Moon. Their Dr. Robotnik is an evil witch. And Sally is sometimes even saved by a mysterious masked hero named Tuxedo Knuckles. Ah, you thought it would be Sonic, but nope. Anyway, I'm going to be redesigning Sally Moon, because I feel like more can be done with this. Right now, she looks like she's in a Party City costume. Basically, I want to blend the two characters together a bit better. Of course, we start off with Sally's usual look. Then instead of starting the long Sailor Moon pigtails at the top of her head, I made them much lower. It just works better with Sally's giant bangs. I didn't give her the titular hair buns because I felt like her ears were a good enough substitute for them. Ears instead of buns is actually something that has been done in Sailor Moon before. Also, she has to have a tiara. How did they not give her a tiara? Then, I got to work on her uniform. I liked how the original design tried to include Sally's signature vest, so I kept that in. I also wanted to incorporate acorns into the redesign as a nod to the Acorn Kingdom, you know, Sally's family. So, I added acorns where jewels usually are on the uniform. Other than that, it was a pretty straightforward process. I even gave her an acorn moonstick instead of whatever that thing is in the original comic. Coloring time! If you're wondering what that Sally reference is, it's actually from a shot I did for Sonic SatAM Rejuiced. Anyway, the colors were also pretty straightforward. Sailor Moon herself doesn't have that many colors in her design. It also works well with Sally because she already has most of Sailor Moon's color scheme on her. The only true major change here is that I kept Sally's vest blue instead of coloring it white like in the comic. All the major redesign work was done in the sketch, I feel like. Here she is, fighting for love and justice. And that's all the redesigns for today's Psych! I'm doing another one from this same issue. When Sally Moon visited Sonic's dimension, she brought along another character, Chibi Rose, their universe's equivalent of Chibiusa. I can see what they were going for, but yeah, the art style just isn't doing it for me. I think she'd look much better in the classic/mania style, don't you think? So, in the original design, they basically turned classic Amy's clothes into a Sailor Scout uniform. But I wanted her to match the Sally Moon redesign more, since Chibi Usa and Sailor Moon's uniforms match all the way down to the shoes. Also, it was a lost opportunity that they didn't take advantage of Chibi Usa's heart motif. That fits Amy so perfectly. Why didn't they at least give her a heart brooch? So, looking at the colors on the original design, they seem to have used Sailor Mars's coloring on her uniform? I guess it was to keep Chibi Rose from drowning in pink, which is fair. However, I'm just going to make her outfit mostly red and white, much like the modern Amy's outfit. I think this works a little better. This was a pretty easy redesign, but I still love it regardless. Okay, I'm done for real this time. 4 redesigns in one video. Let's call it payback for not making one of these videos for a long time. Anyway, please leave a like if you enjoyed the video, and let me know in the comments what other Archie characters you'd like to see me redesign. This was a fun video to make, and I'd love to do this topic again in the future. See you later!